going to talk about some of the thinking behind the Paperight system. The Paperight system depends on the two particular key concepts, curation and licensing. Now, a curator is a person or mechanism that finds content and helps it float to the top of a pile of too much information for consumers to see. And licensing is letting other people take your content to their markets for you because you can't reach those markets properly. These concepts of curation and licensing are very important, particularly in the traditional way that publishers sell books. In the traditional way, a publisher finds an author who has come up with an idea and enables this amplifying effect of adding value until the book reaches a very big market of consumers. And then the publisher very often adds licensing revenue to get even more money from even bigger markets because licensees amplify the publisher's reach. But here's the problem. Publishers like to control exactly how and where their content is distributed. And that makes it very expensive to enter into contracts because they take a lot of time and sometimes money. And in order to maximize the number of licensees, we've got to make it really, really easy to buy licenses. One company that does this quite well is the Copyright Clearance Center, who have a rights link service. Here on the Christian Science Monitor, if I click the permissions link, then I open a rights link window which asks me how I want to reuse this material, and I can pay with a credit card immediately for the right to reuse that material. And that's a fantastic service. Paperight tries to do the same thing, but specifically for copy shops or universities or schools to be able to buy the right to books out. Now, why is that important? Well, here's an example of a bookseller in Africa. This is Ray, and he runs a little second-hand bookstore outside a supermarket near our office. Now, apart from pockets of sophisticated book distribution systems in Africa, this is how books are sold to most people on the continent, by small homespun distributors. In 15 years in the industry, I've never heard of any publisher in Africa describe the industry as one with a sophisticated book distribution system. And in fact, instances like this, the Hogsback Library in the Amatola Mountains, are probably more illustrative of the book distribution system in Africa. This area, incidentally, may have inspired Tolkien's Forest of Mirkwood. And as you can see, the people of Hogsback have to look sharp if they want to borrow books. Now, this rather extreme example illustrates this point. The spaces in Africa are too vast and book publishing margins in print too small to make large-scale investment in print distribution infrastructure worthwhile for either retail or for libraries. While right now ebooks are taking off in the developed world as a natural evolution of a vibrant market for print books, in Africa we don't have that print market to evolve from. Instead, we're going to see huge leapfrogging steps, jumping right past print book distribution and into an age of digital communication. Africa may not be a market for printed books as we know them, but it is a growing, thirsty market for content. This is Alfred Sirleaf in Monrovia in Liberia. He's the blackboard blogger of Monrovia. He writes up the news each day on this blackboard in the center of town. And he makes some money selling advertisers around the board. It's the ultimate last mile delivery platform. And it's last mile delivery platforms like this and Ray the bookseller that interest us at Paperight. We want to know, how can we make the most of small businesses like this to help distribute books? We take our lead from the cell phone industry. It's already growing at an incredible pace, and there are more and more applications that are finding amazing ways to distribute content on cell phones. There are SMS campaigns, SMS-based communication networks, USSD games, educational Mobi sites, dial-in radio, call-based information services, instant messaging communities, and those are only the ones I have written down in front of me. And there are going to be 100 new uses for old phones that we can never dream up in any number of meetings with our rights departments. And it's not just about mobile phones. There are internet cafes everywhere. And of course, we at Paperight, we know that these internet cafes also have printers. Another place where there are printers are computer labs in colleges and schools. And many of these computer labs are staffed with keen people, even in the most trying of circumstances. A lab in a shipping container live in Shakailicha in Cape Town. They don't have their own computers, but they make a plan, keen to be part of a digital marketplace. Publishers, local curators, take content to consumers over the last mile. Now that last mile, as we're concerned, for our business is going to be about copy shops. Copy shops throughout Africa are sites of easy photocopying and often bookbinding. And what we want to do in Paperight is try to find a way that publishers can begin to use that photocopying culture and monetize it rather than constantly fear it. This copy of the New York Times is photocopied and delivered each day in Djibouti. It may or may not be licensed, but could it be licensed? Sure. Perhaps on a rights-linked system, but certainly through the Paperight system. Now, of course, the question we always get when we raise these issues is, how do we monitor and enforce a license agreement? What about piracy? And our answer is this: making licensing easy is an anti-piracy strategy. The prevalence of piracy in the developing world proves that customers want content, and someone local will meet that demand. But even if that someone wanted to do so legitimately, the cost of getting permission to reproduce and resell content is incredibly high. Paperight aims to make it easy. Aims to make it easy not only for the licensees, but also for the rights holders who don't have time to deal with traditional rights agreements to hundreds and hundreds of small entrepreneurs around Africa. Paperight's automated permission system will lower costs on both sides. In addition, it can allow publishers to offer licensees added value for going the legitimate route, simply through contacting them through Paperight or by email. In return for regular sales reports or reports of promotional activity, licensees could get access to up-to-date content from publishers, marketing materials, sales ideas from elsewhere in the network, opportunities to sync promotional activity, and advance notice of upcoming content. And those legitimate businesses will always be one step ahead of piracy-based businesses because of that added value. These are the ideas that Paperight is based upon. Paperight allows publishers to let small businesses around Africa bottle their content. You can get hold of Paperight's parent company, Electric Bookworks, at our website or follow us on Twitter. Otherwise, head to paperight.com and join our mailing list.